There is a brown plastic bottle sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now. It cost you about $1 at the drugstore. It has probably been there for years, waiting on a scraped knee or a splinter. This morning, I carried one just like it across my front yard in the Midwest out to a patch of grass that had been sick since June. That little bottle put oxygen down into soil that was choking. It cleaned up a lawn fungus that a $29 jug from the garden center could not touch, and it did the job for pennies. But before you go pour it on your lawn, I need you to stop. Because poured straight from the bottle, that same dollar's worth of liquid will bleach your grass white as a bedsheet. And poured at the wrong hour of the day, it will do nothing at all, and you will walk away calling the whole idea junk. Stay with me to the end, my friend, because there is a reason that bottle is brown instead of clear, and that one reason decides whether this works on your lawn or wastes your whole Saturday. Nobody at the drugstore and nobody at the lawn store ever explains it. I'm Garry Strickland. I'm 63 years old. I spent my working life as a carpenter, and for better than 30 years, I've kept the same quarter acre in the same Midwest neighborhood. Most of what I know came from my old neighbor Earl, a World War II veteran who had the thickest lawn on the street and nothing in his shed but a rotary mower and a coffee can of grass seed, and from the old groundskeepers around town who were kind enough to answer a young man's questions. Now, pull up a chair and let me tell you something. By the middle of summer, almost every lawn in cool season country starts showing the same troubles. Brown patches that spread across the front yard like a coffee stain on a tablecloth. Rings of dead grass with a ghost of green in the middle. A corner by the downspout that stays wet and mossy and thin no matter what you throw at it. And underneath all of it, soil packed so hard a screwdriver bounces off of it. The lawn store answer to all of that is a wall of bottles. A fungus jug for the patches, a moss product for the wet corner, a bag of something for the hard ground. $40 here, $30 there, every single season. And half the time, the trouble comes right back by August. The old groundskeepers I learned from did not own that wall of bottles, and their grass shamed everything on my street. The man who kept the cemetery grounds in our town treated sick turf with the same brown bottle the nurses used, watered down careful, and he swore by it for one simple reason. The patches, the rings, and that sour, wet corner nearly all trace back to the same root cause, soil with no air in it. When the air goes out of your soil, the good life down there suffocates, and the bad fungus moves in and takes over. Get air back down into that ground, and the lawn starts healing itself. And keep holding on to that thought about the brown plastic, because the color of that bottle is the whole trick, and I promise we are getting there. Now, everything I'm showing you today comes straight out of a little book I put together called The Old Ways, 50 Forgotten Lawn Secrets from America's Greatest Groundskeepers. It is 104 pages of the small, cheap, patient tricks the old fellas taught me over 30 years, written down plain before the men who taught me are all gone. Feeding the soil instead of the grass, watering deep and rare, fixing bare spots so they actually take, and the pantry and garage tricks that cost pennies, just like this one today, all laid out so a regular homeowner can follow along in a single weekend. The book is $17 right now, marked down from $47. One fungus jug at the garden center costs more than that, and you have to buy that jug again every single year. $17 one time for 50 of these. That's the kind of math the catalog stopped doing for you. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, my friend, back to that brown bottle on the kitchen table, because the first thing you need to know is what is actually inside it. Hydrogen peroxide is nothing more than plain water carrying one extra piece of oxygen. That is the whole story. When you pour it on a scraped knee and it fizzes up white, that fizz is the extra oxygen letting go and escaping into the air. It is oxygen you can see with your own eyes. And oxygen is exactly what a suffocated, packed down, fungus-ridden patch of soil is starving for. The good microbes in your dirt, the little workers that feed your grass roots, need air to live, the same as you and me. The nasty lawn funguses mostly thrive where the air is gone. So, a watered-down splash of peroxide does two jobs at once down in that soil. It knocks back the fungus on contact, and then it breaks down into water and pure oxygen, and it hands that oxygen straight to the roots. One more thing before we mix anything. The bottle you want says 3% on the label. 3%, the regular drugstore kind, about $1. Nothing stronger ever touches your lawn, and I will say more about that in a bit. Now let me give you the first trick, the sick patch cure, the one the old cemetery keeper used. Take 1 gallon of plain water in a watering can, pour in 8 ounces of the 3% peroxide. 8 ounces, that is 1 measuring cup, into 1 gallon. Stir it gentle with your hand or a stick. Then carry it out to the brown patch or the fungus ring in the front yard. Sprinkle it slow and even over the whole sick spot. Then keep going about 1 foot past the edge of it in every direction, because fungus always runs a little wider underground than what you can see on top. Take your time with this. There is no rush at all. 1 gallon of mix covers roughly a patch the size of a card table. Do this once a week. After 3 weeks, most patches stop spreading and start showing new green at the edges. And notice what we are not doing, neighbor. We are not soaking the whole yard. The old fellas treated the problem, not the property. Restraint beats brute force every time, and it keeps that dollar bottle lasting all season. That handles the fungus. But it leaves you with a second problem, because where a patch dies out, you are left with bare dirt, and bare dirt is an open invitation to weeds. So the second trick is the seed soak, and this one came from the man who kept the ball field downtown. Before you overseed a bare spot, put 2 cups of plain water in a bowl. Add 1 ounce of the 3% peroxide. 1 ounce, that is 2 tablespoons, into 2 cups of water. Pour your grass seed in and let it sit for 30 minutes. That is 30 minutes, not overnight. While it sits, that gentle fizz is cleaning the fungus spores right off the seed coat, and it softens the shell just enough to wake the seed up. Drain it, spread the seed out on newspaper for an hour so it handles easy, and sow it that same day into loosened soil. Seed treated this way comes up faster and thicker, and it comes up clean, into ground you have already treated. The old ball field keeper never planted a seed dry, and that field was the greenest thing in the county. Now the third trick, for that soggy, packed down corner by the downspout where the grass grows thin and the moss creeps in. Grass roots in ground like that are drowning, plain and simple. Water fills every gap in the soil and pushes the air out, and roots with no air rot from the tip up. So first, take an ordinary garden fork. Push it into that wet corner about 4 inches deep. 4 inches, about the length of your hand. Rock it back a touch and pull it out. Do that every 6 inches or so across the whole spot. Take your time, there is no rush. Then mix that same batch as before, 8 ounces of peroxide into 1 gallon of water and pour it slowly into those fork holes. The peroxide carries oxygen straight down to the smothered roots, and the holes let the ground start breathing again on its own. Do it every couple of weeks through the wet part of the season. And whatever you do not run out and do any of this at high noon. Remember the brown bottle. We are almost there, and it is the whole ball game. But first, the warnings, because the title of this video says stop, and I meant it. Never pour peroxide straight from the bottle onto living grass. Straight peroxide burns leaf tissue, and you will regret it by morning when the blades turn pale. It always gets diluted, 8 ounces to the gallon, no stronger. Never treat the entire lawn wall to wall. A healthy lawn does not need it, and good soil life should be left in peace to do its work. Spot treatment only, and never, ever buy the 35% industrial strength peroxide some folks talk about on the internet. That stuff burns skin. It is dangerous to have around grandkids, and your lawn gets no extra benefit from it whatsoever. The 3% drugstore bottle is the right tool, the same as it has been since the old timers were young men. Read the label on anything you buy and respect it. The old fellas knew things the bottle can't sell you, but they read every label just the same. And that brings us to the part I promised you at the very start. Go get that bottle and look at it. The plastic is brown or sometimes a dark amber. Every brand, every drugstore, always dark. That is not decoration, my friend. Hydrogen peroxide has one great enemy, and it is sunlight. Direct sun breaks peroxide down into plain, ordinary water, and it does it fast. The dark bottle is the manufacturer's way of protecting what is inside from the light. Now think about what that means out on an open lawn at noon on a bright day. You sprinkle your mix onto that fungus patch under the midday sun, and a good share of it turns into plain water before it ever soaks down to where the fungus lives. You did the work, you spent the money, and the sun robbed you on the way down. That is exactly why one fellow swears this method saved his yard, and another fellow swears it is an old wives' tale. The believer poured at the right hour. So here is the rule the old groundskeepers lived by. This goes down at dusk, or at first light before the sun climbs, when the light is low and the ground is cool. The mix gets its full hour to soak deep and do its work. And buy a fresh bottle each spring, capped tight in a dark cabinet, because a bottle that has sat open for a year has already gone flat into water. The color of the bottle was the answer the whole time, and that right there is exactly the kind of thing the old fellas taught me, the small why behind the what that decides everything. The book has 49 more just like it, laid out just as plain. The old ways, 104 pages, $17 instead of $47, less than half of one fungus jug you would otherwise buy every year for the rest of your life. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone, right now the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So, remember it plain, neighbor. 8 ounces to the gallon, spot treatment only, and always at dusk or dawn, never under the noon sun. If you try this over the weekend, come back and tell me how it went. I read every single one. Next time, I am going to show you what the old ball field keeper downtown did with a 5-pound bag of plain white sugar from the grocery store, because what it quietly does to the soil under a tired lawn is something no bag at the garden center will ever tell you about. Keep that lawn thick and green, my friend, and I'll see you over the fence.